So risk. So we have a separate topic called risk. Identity risk. Application risk we will learn later. So what is risk based on some? We are going to mention some risk, point to the entitlement rules, some access. So based on that, these things will be generated. If the risk score is 500 and the threshold is 400, consider so. In that scenario, we need to validate this user very immediately. So this is what it means. Let me show you. So here as of now, identity risk 00. No need to worry about these things. So for this user, he has some 404 risk score then, and the threshold level is 400, then we have to immediately validate his user access, what kind of access he has, because whatever we are going to provide some points. So those access is going to call as privileged access. So no need to worry about these things. We have a topic, separate topic. We will learn later. Okay, so accounts I have explained. So from here, you can check the status when the account has been last time refreshed. So these kind of things you can check. So correlation, we'll talk about correlation. So we are talking about application onboarding. So let's have a question. Nazim is an employee. We got his identity from some HR application into Sailpoint. Okay, so this Nazim identity has been created from HR application into Sailpoint. I'm able to find his identity. Okay, Nazim is our present. Now the same employee has access to some 5 different application. He's already has access. And these, we got a requirement as a Sailpoint developer. We got a requirement to onboard these 5 different applications. So in that scenario, what will happen? You got the requirement. Does it make sense? Or you want me to explain one more time? Because it's quite tricky. No, I'm trying to understand you. We have an employee, Nazim. Let's take an example, Vinay. Vinay is an employee. We got Vinay details from Directory HR Directory. Some trusted, so we have application from there. As part of aggregation, that Vinay identity has been created in Sailpoint. He got some birthright access, whatever apart from this one HR access. He has some different 5 applications. Let's take an example, Gmail, Google Drive, or any other application he has access. Now, as a Sailpoint admin, I got a requirement these 5 applications also have to onboard. In that scenario, I'm going to create 5 applications for those 5 applications. I'm going to create task account aggregation task. Those account aggregation will happen in that time. What will happen? Already we have identity. So is it going to create 5 more identity? Ideally. Yes, unless we are going to create some kind of a link with the central identity with all the 5 applications. You will create one identity, but you will link the identity with 5 different applications. That's what we are going to do. Apart from that, any others idea? Vinay and Navin. Any other idea? Yeah, that's what I mean, because we have to have some kind of a link with the anchor attribute, right? So there will be some primary attribute to define this correlation. So we understand the requirement, right? Why we are going to implement, why we are going to create correlation, because we won't able to have some 6 identities with the same name. That's not possible. I mean, that's not recommendable. So in that scenario, we can do one thing. We will correlate all identities based on some attribute. So let's take an example. 5 application I have created. I don't want to create 5 more times the same identity. So just click on, I'm going to create some new rule, correlation rule. The role name could be anything randomly. I'm choosing resume rule. Just click on next. So from this page, you are going to define, this is the application attribute, this is the identity attribute. So you have any confusion? So what is the difference between application attribute and identity attribute? No, identity is the central one, Sailpoint, and the application is the application one. No, theoretically I'm not asking, just you have an idea, right? What is application attribute from where we can fetch? And what about identity attribute? Okay, what about other guys? Are you clear? Or can I explain one more time? Because if you didn't understand these things, it will be difficult to understand. That's the reason I'm saying, what about Bob and Naveen? Yeah, I think application attributes has to do with the characteristics of the application that is being assigned to. Let me open one identity and I'll explain. So this username, first name, last name, email manager type, this department region, these are the customized one. Don't go there. So these are the attributes. Okay, these are the identity attributes. If I'm going to open any spreadsheet feed file from there, some employee ID, first name, last name will be there, right? So those details called application attribute. Okay, now I need to define in between these things in the application attribute. It should. Both attributes has to be unique. Let's take an example email. If both the email is going to match. In that scenario, 5 identities won't be created. Okay, it's going to merge. Is that make sense? Yes, okay. So let's check here. And apart from that, one thing I have noticed, if you're not going to define any correlation, also, Sailpoint has a mechanism. It won't allow you to create multiple times. So let's go to identity. Let me select any one user. Okay. So whenever employee is going to get 5 more accounts, we have on board these 5 applications. So in that scenario, it's going to look like this. Okay, so let's go to the next one. We have onboarded 5 applications. We have created 5 tasks. We have aggregated those things. Identity won't create 5 times. It will merge with all these 5 accounts. Any doubts, guys?